Life in North Korea is very different than life here in the States. Their government is a totalitarian dictatorship. They have one of the worst human rights records on earth, and they rate also one of the most heavily militarized countries on earth with one of the largest standing armies in the world. The average citizen has little to no access to basic freedoms that we take for granted every day. So what is it actually like to live in this country? What does daily life look like for the average North Korean citizen? This is a documentary about life in North Korea. The Democratic People's Republic of Korea, otherwise known as North Korea, is a strange country. It's a secretive, isolated state shrouded in mystery. Very few people outside of the country have any idea how it operates or what life is like for the 26 million people who call it home. Since the 1950s, North Korea has been ruled by one family, the Kim dynasty. The current leader is Kim Jong-un, who took over after his father, Kim Jong-il, died in December of 2011. Under the Kim regime, North Korea has become one of the most repressive countries in the world. But despite all of the bad press, North Korea still has a lot to offer its citizens. Like many other countries, North Korea has a rich history, culture and landscape that can be enjoyed by those who live there. Pyongyang, the capital city, is a bustling metropolis with towering skyscrapers and wide boulevards. The countryside is dotted with mountains, rivers and forests that are perfect for hiking and camping. And North Koreans have a strong sense of community and pride in their country. Of course, these things aren't unique to North Korea. Almost every country has some form of history, culture, landscape or national identity that can be enjoyed by its citizens. If you were born and raised in North Korea, you probably wouldn't trade it for anything else in the world. Well, maybe if you were born in Pyongyang, then you might want to move to Seoul because Seoul is just a hop, skip and a jump away from Pyongyang. That is only if you have connections and the money to pull it off, because crossing the border into South Korea is next to impossible. For the average North Korean citizen, you see, if you're a North Korean citizen living in North Korea, your government has told you many terrible things about the South. They say that the South is filled with horrible monsters who will do anything to make a buck. They say that the South is riddled with drugs and prostitution, and that everyone is out to get you, and will sell you out in a heartbeat. There are also rumors that the South has biological weapons labs filled with deadly viruses, and diseases that could wipe out the entire North Korean population in a matter of days. The truth is somewhere in between these two extremes. Yes, South Korea is a capitalist society where there is poverty and yes, crime. But so what? It's no different than New York City, Detroit or Compton. And yes, there are beautiful women everywhere, but they're not all prostitutes. In fact, the majority of them aren't even remotely interested in sex. You see, growing up in North Korea, you're taught that the United States and South Korea are evil and everything they stand for. You're taught that they ray out to destroy your country and that you should hate them with every fiber of your being. If you ever get the chance to meet someone from the South, you should be suspicious of their every move because they always watching you and waiting for you to slip up so they can report you back to the government. Now, obviously, this isn't entirely true. There is no evidence that South Korea has ever tried to invade the North or develop biological weapons to use against the North Korean people. However, it is true that the United States and South Korea are allies and that there are American troops stationed in South Korea. So if you were to cross the border, you would likely be arrested and put on trial for espionage. And since North Korea and South Korea have been technically at war since 1953, if you were captured, you would be considered a spy and treated accordingly. As a result, most North Koreans don't even know that the border is only a few miles away. And if they did, they wouldn't dare try to cross it. The average North Korean citizen lives in a small village and works in agriculture. They grow rice, potatoes, and other crops to eat and to sell at the local market. In recent years, the North Korean government has begun to allow private markets, which have helped to improve the standard of living for many people. Still, there are widespread reports of malnutrition and starvation. Despite the hardship, North Koreans are a resilient people and they take great pride in their country. They're fiercely independent and self-reliant, and they're not afraid of hard work. North Koreans are also very polite and respectful towards each other. They believe that everyone deserves to be treated with respect, regardless of their social status. This is probably because they've lived under a totalitarian regime for so long and know what it is like to be oppressed. They also know firsthand the importance of staying in the good graces of those in power. If you were to walk around Pyongyang, you would notice something right away. Everyone seems to be minding their own business. No one is laughing, joking, or making a lot of noise. Everyone is dressed in black or grey, and most people are wearing the same style of shoes. You would also notice that there are soldiers and police officers everywhere. They're in the streets, in the parks, and even at the bus stops. They are there to make sure that everyone is behaving properly and to arrest anyone who is a threat to the state. North Koreans are not allowed to have their own cars, so you won't see any Lamborghinis or Maseratis. All the cars in Pyongyang are either government-owned or privately owned. But they're not allowed to be driven outside of the city limits. This is why you'll never see any accidents or traffic jams. If you're caught driving recklessly, you'll be arrested and put to work in a labor camp. When it comes to food, North Koreans eat a lot of rice, noodles, and cabbage. Meat is rare and is usually only eaten on special occasions. Alcohol is also popular, and you'll often see people drinking rice wine or beer. The government runs a tight ship, and there is little room for individuality or self-expression. If you're a North Korean, you must always put the needs of the state above your own. You must be willing to work hard and make sacrifices for the good of the country. And you must never, ever question the government. If you do, you'll be sent to a labor camp where you will be forced to work long hours for little or no pay. And if you're lucky, you'll be able to return to your family after a few years. But if not, well, let's just say that no one ever hears from them again. In terms of entertainment, North Koreans have a few options. They can watch movies, which are usually propaganda designed to glorify the government and the country. They can listen to music, which is mostly traditional folk songs or propaganda. And they can participate in sports, which are also used as a way to promote national unity and strength. The government does its best to keep North Koreans in the dark when it comes to the outside world. They don't have access to the internet or most international media, and they're not allowed to own radios or TVs that can pick up foreign broadcasts. The only way that North Koreans learn about the outside world is through the government-controlled media. So, what does the future hold for North Korea? It's hard to say. The country is so isolated and secretive that it's impossible to know what's going on inside. One thing is for sure, though, the North Korean people are resilient and they've endured a lot of hardship over the years. Whether their country will ever change remains to be seen. But one thing is for sure, the North Korean people will continue to endure. We hope you enjoyed this video about life in North Korea. If you want to learn more about this fascinating country, check out our blog for more articles. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.